New for the year. Okay guys, new for the year. Field Marshal here, doing a new little set of videos. Haven't done some since before Christmas, and we're doing these for 2023, kind of starting the year off with where we are on stuff. Bunch of stuff to go over here. I've got some more unboxing to do. I've got some other found parts, and also some updates on the latest things that come out, like the Leia blaster and the bowcaster. Okay. I guess first of all, I'd like to make a comment to new builders, okay, and to encourage them to get involved and to do a little research and to pay attention to some of these Star Wars props, because there's actually more to them than just somebody on Etsy or whatever, you know, 3D printing a $30 prop that's spray painted black and throwing it at you, okay. Now what we do here at Blaster Factory is we build metal props, okay, and to the best of my ability I try to use found parts or the real vintage items and laser scan them. And I think that the reason I'm going over this is especially with all the new people following and the new questions I've been getting the last few months, I'm realizing that a lot of people and new builders or new people to finding us don't realize what goes into these things or where they come from. And you know, I've had a few, you know, I mean, you know, over Christmas we get swamped, and of course, you know, if you know us, you know, we try to respond to things really quickly. Well, you know, my limited staff here, we've actually struggled to keep up with that this year. We're just all kind of catching up. But that's why I want to go over this with new builders, is that, you know, you've got to take a little bit of time and do a little research. Some of these things aren't throw together in 5 minutes and run out there and play in the backyard with it, okay? These are meant to be high-end displays or for high-end cosplay, okay? That's why we build them this way. And you know what kind of got me going on this morning was I was reading an email, and I won't say who's, one of the followers on the Facebook, is you know, he was complaining that he spent 3-4 hours putting something together, and I'm like, well, that's awesome. You know, you didn't do it in 5 minutes, because some of these things are $600-800 bucks, and if it was a 5-minute put together, you know, done, then hey, you know, that wouldn't be very detailed, wouldn't be very fun. So, you know, just like to mention that to the new builders is the reason why these things are so detailed and so many pieces is for that reason. So, you know, one of the things, the latest thing is, let me grab it here, is the Leia, okay? I mean, there's about 40 parts to this thing, and it's not hard to put together, but it does require some effort, you know, and especially if you're going to paint it and make it look legit, you know, take your time to it. Put it together in its raw state first, learn how it works, and then you can take it back apart and then do a little research on, you know, what it should be painted, you know. And oh, by the way, I've seen, there's dozens of people out there, and I get the pictures and the build progress from a lot of the people out there, and you're doing a great job. You know, I'm seeing some really great builds from this, you know, especially in the raw form. It does take a little time, but you know, it's worth it. When you're done with something like this, it's actually worth keeping. Now, I also, well, this one ain't quite all the way, but you can kind of get an idea. This one, I've also started offering the parts in anodized form, black anodized, if you wanted to just put it together and just as is. You know, a lot of you guys may do that if you're carrying it around in a holster at a con or something. So, you know, that anodizing is pretty tougher than paint, but that doesn't replace, you know, weathering and painting it correctly and actually going the extra mile for it. But, you know, there it is. I'm also doing the same thing for the bowcaster now. Some of the parts, these were in the raw form. Here in the next few weeks, you'll see, you know, the bowcaster here, which, you know, this is a, wow. This is a major build. There's a lot of parts to this too. And all of this will become pre-black or assembled black, not weathered. I don't do that kind of work. That's a different skill set. Takes a lot more time if you want to go down that rabbit hole. There's some commission builders out there like Scott Juarez at Crucible Props, and Garrett, and many others out there. And if you are a commission builder, definitely chime in on the comments and make yourself known. But you know, if you're somebody who absolutely just doesn't want to take the time and do it, those guys are out there. And you know, Scott just posted some E11s and some Leias here lately, and they look like, you know, what's on screen. It's really amazing what they can do with it. So, I mean, there's a lot of different options there, and I definitely encourage you as a new builder, if you've never built kits like this, to don't get frustrated and take your time with it. You may not do this in an hour and be done, and it's sitting in a museum somewhere. So, you know, hey, you know, we're always here to help. You know, if you've got any questions, so you can always, you know, get a hold of us. Be a little easier now that Christmas is over. We ain't so rushed. Also, that same thing, you know, the DL44 kits. We also do the same thing in those in aluminum and steel. The steel needs to be blued, which, you know, all of these things, you know, if you'll go to our YouTube channel, and new builders may not realize this, but there's a lot of videos there where I'm painting scopes or painting an E11, and I sort of do it in the basic form. The more extreme detailing, painting, or weathering, there's other commission builders that kind of handle that, so be aware of that. But that's a great place to get started. There's a bunch of reference material, and it's the Blaster Factory YouTube channel. You know, go there, hit like, follow. You'll see current stuff come out. And I'm reminding people of this because, you know, they keep asking me questions. Hey, you know, where's the directions? Stuff don't come with printed directions anymore. It's going to be, you know, on the websites. It's going to be on YouTube. I mean, who reads directions that come out of a box anyway? So, you know, there again, that'll help solve that for some of you. Hold on, coffee break. Sorry, that got kind of long-winded, but you know, there's a lot of followers that have done these and built hundreds of props, and there's some of you guys who haven't done one yet, and you may be a little intimidated. Don't. There's lots of reference material. In fact, you know, there's another thing that that's probably not as popular anymore, but the RPF and whitearmor.net. I mean, I've got huge build threads on that where you can actually go and see where these props come from. You can actually go back and see where I'm machining them, because the machine shop's right out here where we make everything in-house. These are all machined aluminum usually, or they're castings, all metal. They're plastic where plastic was used, but go there, or the blog on the blasterfactory.com site. There's actually a blog there that I try to keep records of the progress as these builds are done, okay? And if you want to do good stuff, you know, it requires a little effort. So, you know, take your time with that, okay? Okay, on the next stuff. We've got all of that stuff in the works there. Remove that. Got a recurring question. Sold a lot of E11 kits over Christmas, and everybody's getting to where they're painting them and assembling them, and a couple questions I'm going to go over. One thing is about the paint, okay? Typically I use, if you'll go to the site and the YouTube channel, I'm painting an E11, go check that out. It's flat black spray paint, and also there's crinkle paint. There's a lot of other options, you know, to weather them up and distress them, so go take a look at that. Also, here's two pieces of the kit I want to show everyone. A lot of times I get where people say that their front arm here is not tight, where it's sagging when they get it together. There's a hook right here, okay? And then there's the part that pushes on the shoulder rest, okay? Spring loaded. Now, when this thing is screwed together, it goes into this slot right here, okay? Now, if for some reason when you've assembled it, if that piece here, see how it goes back and forth, okay? If that's not able to go all the way forward and push that up, then make sure you've got nothing obstructing it, okay? Make sure it's clear right here, not hitting the front. And you know, you may have to trim this or sand it, or make sure it actually goes fully forward for that to work, okay? I see a lot of people having trouble with that, and you know, it's not because the parts are defective. These are castings, and it's like a model. And I've pointed this out in a couple threads here lately that, you know, like when you go to the store and you buy an old Tester's models, which I hope some of you still do, you build an old 57 Chevy or whatever, all the pieces are, you know, they're on the grid there, on the sprue, and you got to tear them off and clean them up and make them, you know, fit nice. I mean, that's the way these kits are. You know, they're challenge kits. They're not done for, everything's not done for you. You don't shake them in a box and they come out done. So, you know, take a little time, you know. And if you got questions or need help, there again, text me. Okay, that's out of the way. Oh, you know what? The other weekend, talking about found parts, and I have quite a few of these because I collect them and sometimes I'll put them on the builds, but I actually found that in an antique shop. Picked it up for about 40 bucks, which, you, if you've ever collected these, this one's actually a M40 number 4, and if you've ever gone online and tried to find these vintage ones, because they're on E11s and other Star Wars builds, these things are about, could cost you $400 or $500 easy, sometimes 7 or 8. So that was a lucky find the other weekend. That was kind of a surprise. But there again, if you do your research and learn about some of these found parts, you'll find them out in the wild too. Also, I found a vintage Heinzler counter, which, you know, goes on the E11. This is a really good Large Eagle version. It's got the, you know, all the pieces. You know, it's really nice find there. That was about oh God, I forgot what I paid for it. They didn't know what it was. There again, you find this stuff when they don't know what it is, you might get a deal on it, because these will bring about $400 to $500 a piece too. I think I gave 30 or something for it, just in a pile of junk. So be aware of it. That's a really good thing there. Oh, and also next thing here, E11. The E11 kits that I offer, there's several different versions on the site. Look at the parts and pieces. The kits vary. You know, I see somebody buy a basic kit, they get it, and they're like going, well, is this not all the parts? No. And you know what? You need to do a little research to understand. They usually don't come with a mag, which, you know, this is kind of a thing I hear a lot, because the mag situation, I actually have vintage mags, vintage Patchett Sterling mags that I cut down, and they're sold separately, and they're kind of rare and they're expensive. They don't typically come with the kits, okay? In some states and areas, they don't even want you sending mags like that, so they're not included. They're extra, and they're also, you know, they're a little pricey because it's actually a real vintage item, okay? I have thought about maybe I don't know, machining some fake one or a replica, or doing some kind of 3D print just for a placeholder for people that don't want to go through that. But just be aware of that. Also, T-track. You know, some of the kits come with T-track, some of them don't. Be aware of that. The next thing is, you know, have somebody put together a kit, then they do a little research and realize, hey, you know, what's the power cylinders? Okay, these go on top of the mag well. And I build some really nice replicas of these. There's A through E. There's different versions because there's different shapes in the back here, different cutouts. They come out of a tube rack, which nobody has ever found the real one. So that'd be nice. Do a little research on that. Maybe you'll run across that in some vintage electronics store. Make some really nice replica metal mite capacitors in here. This is what sets on the mag well. I don't have a mag well on this one, but it'd be sitting right here on some of the variants on the original A New Hope E11, and some of them have them, some of them don't, but there's several variants of it. You know, take a few minutes and do a little bit of research. There again, going to the E11 Threads on whitearmor.net would be really helpful if you're actually into building the E11, the original E11, or the DH17 that I do. There's some really good build threads, tons of history behind it. Everything on that gun is pretty cool. You've got an old Sherman tank M38 or M40 scopes. You've got metal mite cylinders. You've got the Heinzler counter. Some really cool greeblies on that build. So, you know, take some time, learn about the prop. You know, there's more to it than a lot of these little cheapy kits you see people throwing out everywhere. Okay. man, going over tons of stuff here. Hope I ain't moving too fast. Some more things I bought off of people and were traded for. I forget where this one come from. Can't remember what it is. Oh, by the way, how'd y'all like Maura in the last video doing the Bo-Katan helmet? She works here at War Machine, does a lot of promotional stuff. Okay, I think I traded this from Chris. I can't remember. Yeah. Hey, Chris. I'm just now opening these. Oh, yeah, there you go. This is an actual M38 number 5. Still has the bracket on it, because these were, if you go to my site, take a look at where these actually come from. They're actually inside of old Sherman tank periscopes. You see these all over Star Wars, all over the blasters, okay? And this is actually one in really good shape. The one I found the other day is kind of rough, but this one's actually in really, really good shape. I wouldn't do anything to this if I was putting it on an E11 build. It has the right kind of patina and it's worn. That's probably worth some good money. Something else in here too. God, Chris, this has been so long I don't even remember what I did here. Chris is one of the followers, Chris Young. And oh, heck, there's another one. You see, this one has the mounting brackets not on it. And good optics in it too. See? Those will end up putting them on a kind of a vintage build special edition. I'll use those for. Okay. Yeah, as I was saying, over Christmas the last month or two, we were so busy here, you know, just keeping up with sales and tech support and all the other stuff we were doing. Glad I'm getting a chance to catch up all these unboxings, and I've got more. I'll do more videos as I get a chance. But I think I remember what this is. This comes from I think this comes from Dennis. It does. One of my German buddies had this. He posted it, and it was so cool looking. I had to buy it immediately. And he has plenty of tape on this. Yep. Well, it looks like they took a little bit of shipping damage, unfortunately. It's always a risk when you ship that far away. Oops. Cut this box out some more. Wow. Okay, going back to the Heinzler counters here. This is actually, the counters are actually used or were used in industry. Probably on looms or other machines. And this is an array of them. Now these have started popping out of their racks here. I'll have to work on that just in shipping, but as you can see, this is a really cool piece of history here. I don't know how old this is, but I'm going to guess it's probably 60s or 70s at least. And these are primo. These are small eagle counters, and that will go a long way building some really cool E11 builds. Oh, I tell you what, too much stuff on the table here. And there's one more here. Now this one looked like it took a little bit of damage in shipping, unfortunately. This had a piece in the front which has got destroyed in shipping. Maybe I can piece that together. And the feet here. Yep. There we go. It's a part of that timer counter system, which I don't know if this was actually anything in Star Wars, but it's a part of this array. But you know, I always like showing you guys the vintage parts, so you'll be on the lookout for them too. And I actually make a kit. You know, if you can't find one of these will cost you, like I said, These things are usually run about 400 bucks usually. So I've got a kit you can get if you're doing an E11 build, or it comes with some of the kits. So, well, you know, there you have it. Is that everything, I think? Oh, you know what? I haven't picked a project this year to do a replica, and you know, I was going to throw that out there. If you've got any suggestions this year for a new project build, I've just kind of spent about 3 years doing the bowcaster and the Leia, and they're kind of out and rolling now, and doing really well. And you know, if you've got any suggestions in the comments, maybe, you know, let me know what prop. Send me a picture of it. You know, there's some obscure stuff, so if there's a prop you like, you think I need to be building that'd be popular enough, let me know. One idea I had, and Scott turned me on to this series, and I've realized a lot of people ain't seen it, but it's a really cool sci-fi series called Firefly. And unfortunately, there's only one season. It was really good, and then they did a movie. It is excellent. I highly suggest you watch it. I printed a picture. It didn't come out in color, but you know, Mal's pistol is really cool. I was kind of thinking about maybe taking a look at it, see what it would take if there's enough fans out there of it. Yeah, and also another thing I was thinking about doing too, since there's the comments and a lot of the builders and commission builders and people that influence, maybe doing a podcast too, if that would be something you guys would be interested in. I don't know how hard it'd be. I'll have to talk to John back here, but maybe get on screen here and maybe you can have guests, you know, chime in and pop up in the videos and discuss stuff. You know, because it'd be great right now because we got a lot of things happening. You know, this Mando season 3. When's that come out? March 1st or something. So hey, you know, we got something really good to look forward to. And hopefully Bo-Katan will show back up, and Boba Fett, and we get to see some more of that. Bad Batch, the new cartoons are running, and I've been keeping up with it, and they're entertaining. They're really good, and maybe, you know, let me know on the podcast. You know, we could be discussing the episodes and what's going on in them and what you think. So, hey guys, that's it for today. I know that was a kind of a shotgun effect of a bunch of stuff. It kind of piled up on me, so I just wanted to throw it out there. Let me know what you think in the comments. You know, hit like, and Field Marshal out.